This is back on our screens tonight. Yes, The Apprentice is on BBC One from 9 o'clock for its 17th series. Yet again, young budding business people will try to become Sir Alan Sugar's professional partner. Shall we speak to a couple who know all about going through the process? Tom Skinner, who was a contestant in 2019, and Kayode Damali, who took part in 2018. Morning, chaps.
How are you, mate? How you doing?
Morning, what's going on? Tom's on it as well. What's going on, Tom?
Did you not know?
How are you, Cody? How are you, mate?
I'm good, man. You're right.
Yeah, good, thank you.
This is interesting for a start then. You were on different years, but you clearly know each other quite well. Is there like a great network then, Thomas, of former contestants?
It's like, listen, like you're getting a special club when you go on The Apprentice, don't you? So you end up all being pals. It's quite a nice thing to say you're done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, does that extend to actually meeting up or Zooming or, just debriefing each other?
Like messages and WhatsApp. I've not met a lot of people off The Apprentice yet, but we'll all keep in contact through the phones.
Very nice. Now, I want to ask you both, starting with you, Thomas, why did you go on it? You must have seen it on the telly. You must have been aware that sometimes the people on it look like right twits. Why was it worth taking that risk?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't actually apply to go on The Apprentice.
Ah.
My wife done it for me. My missus done it for me. So I was a market trader, and my missus absolutely loves The Apprentice. She's like a serial fan, watches it every single year. And she went, you can do this, you'll be great on this show. And so I'm dyslexic, I can't even fill out a form. She filled out the forms for me, sent them in, and next thing you know, I got the job, and it was the best thing I ever done.
It really was. What difference has it made to you then?
Yeah, it's just sort of put me on the map. I've gone from having a little market stall to a nationwide business. Obviously done a lot more TV work, and people actually think I've got a clue what's going on in business. I mean, I'm not really the best business person in the world. I'm a good salesperson, but it's really helped me out and build myself up and build my profile.
I'm not sure you should be admitting that, but it seems to be working out all right, which is good. Kayode, what was your motivation?
Yeah, so my motivation from going on to the show, so I literally it was 2017, I was running my events business. And I think year on year, so I started in 2014, and it got to 2017 where I realised that I needed a change. It wasn't going as profitable as it once was. Mm-hmm. So I remember coming back from one event. It was 2017 New Year's going into 2018 in January, and I was just sitting in front of the TV, and I saw them saying, "Do you want to apply for The Apprentice?" I was like, you know what? I do need to change. Events business isn't going as well as it once was. Right, I'm going to apply it. And I kid you not, it was like if the deadline was midnight on that day, I applied probably 11:55, thinking nothing of it. And then the next morning I woke up and realised I got put through. I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. So that was my motivation to going on. So I had the event business at the time. I wanted to change. I was like, right, Lord Sugar, let's go for it.
Right. Now, when you say you knew by the next morning that you got through, that wouldn't be true to the show. That'd be to the next stage of interviews, presumably, would it?
Yeah, so the next stage after the application form, yeah.
Right, and tell me about that process. How gruelling and long-winded is all that?
So I actually really enjoyed it, to be fair. Like, I really enjoyed, you got thousands of people there in the building. I was like, right, I just thought it was a chance for me to stand out. I'm quite extroverted. I quite like being in public. I quite like being around people. So for some people, they might be shy and think, oh my God, there's thousands of people here. But for me, I kind of embraced it.
Good, and the rest is history. How much like or how little like you thought it would be, was it, Thomas, when you finally got to do the show?
Yeah, well, I mean, what people don't realise is that one task takes about 3 days to film. So you only see one hour on the telly, and half hour of it's the boardroom, the other half hour is the task. So a lot more goes into the task than what you see. In fact, loads and loads and loads more does. And I only crop out the best bits. So the tasks are actually really, really hard. Even though you do look a bit silly sometimes on the telly. Like, what I can say, and I've done it myself, is like you haven't got your mobile phone. You can't read the paper. You can't watch the telly. So, and you are just thrown into it with a lot of people you don't know with no help. So it does put, and you are tired. So you don't know what's going on. But you do end up doing some fantastic things and meeting some lovely people.
So when you watched it, I mean, were you wincing or were you forgiving yourself because you'd been put into the situation?
When I watched it, I was very lucky that the producer must have liked me, because I got shown in a good light on there, and I come across okay. But yeah, no. mate, obviously some things I did cringe at. I thought, God, what did I do that for?
What, get
But,
one example of something that made you put your hand over your eyes when you were sitting on your sofa.
I don't know, actually.
It's so painful. You've blotted them all out. Go on. Sorry, carry on.
Probably on the first ever task when we was out in South Africa and we had to sell a load of tickets for a tour.
Yeah.
And the first thing I said, and it come up and screaming, I went, listen, I'll sell them tickets, no problem, easy. I'll get out there and sell a lot. If I don't sell them, I'll eat me out. And we ended up not selling 2 of them. And I felt like a wally after that.
They didn't actually make you eat a hat, though. I would assume that would health and safety.
I'd said it, to be fair.
Would have something to say about that, wouldn't they? Kayode, how did you feel it turned out for you in terms of what we saw on the screen? Was it fair? Did you cringe? Were you proud of how you came across, or what?
Yeah, I think similarly to Tom, I think I came across in a great light, because particularly when I got fired, it was a complete outrage, it was a complete outpour. People were really, really angry the fact I got fired. So I think I came across in a great light. Cringe-wise, yeah. I don't think there's anything I cringed at. I just think hindsight's 20/20, right? So I think in hindsight, when you look back and you think, okay, maybe if I made this play better, I could have played that better. But I think overall, I didn't really have any massive things I cringed at. I mean, I called a pair of shoes fleekies. Nowadays, in 2022, the word fleeky is a bit old now, but
I've never even heard it, I'm afraid. That one's passed me by. You could say fleeky all day long and I'd think you were hip. So,
yes, I'm cringing about that right now.
We heard from Thomas what a big difference it's made to him. You know, all television work he's got out of it, his business is transformed. What about you? How different is your working life now directly because of being on that show?
Yeah, so I think for me, wherever I'm a presenter, I'm a host, I'm a speaker, doing award shows, etc. Of course, being on a massive TV show, BBC's flagship program, The Apprentice, catapulted me out there. So I think that definitely helped for people in terms of giving me bookings, etc. And even on an event standpoint, even though I went on to Apprentice to come out of events, even when I came off the show, I still ended up doing more events anyway. So I remember one time I had a massive graduation event in Manchester. So yeah, definitely helped. Good. 100%.
Final thought then, will you be watching closely this series, Thomas?
I can't wait to watch it. In fact, tonight I'm going to make sure I finish work early. I'll get on the sofa. I'm going to get a nice takeaway, glass of beer, and I'm going to watch it.
Is the same true of you, Kayode?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm in the gym getting a pump, and I guess it's getting me pumped up for tonight. So definitely, me and my mum, it's a thing. We watch it every year together. So yeah.
Fantastic. Well, you can join them on BBC One tonight. Thank you both so much for your time this morning. Tom Skinner and Kayode Damali, both alumni of The Apprentice.